What is up, guys? Bruin Steel here. Welcome back to another WWE broadcast. And once I am joined by Canadian Yorker, and today we are recapping the Monday Night Raw that took place June 17th, 2024, and it took place in Corpus Christi, Texas. And it is the fallout from Clash of the Castle. So how are you doing tonight, Canadian Yorker?
Doing awesome tonight. How about yourself?
Good. So yeah, it was an amazing Raw. This Monday Night Raw was great. We got to see the return of, at the end, so we'll talk about that towards the end. But let's get started. So, in a shocking return, we see Seth freaking Rollins make his return, and I'm like, what? He's actually back. So Seth Rollins makes his return. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania, and he talks about that he wants to be the best, greatest of all time. And I thought he was going to announce himself in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but he said that he wants to win back his World Heavyweight title, and then he gets interrupted by Damian Priest, who said that he wants to be the first one to welcome Seth back. He said that this is not Monday Night Rollins anymore, and said that Judgment Day runs things now. And basically, Seth Rollins thinks that the other Judgment Day members are going to attack him. So Damian Priest said, no, you don't have to be a ladder match. So Damian Priest said that he will defend the title against Seth Rollins at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And Seth Rollins said that he accepts the challenge. So we're going to have Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest at Money in the Bank. I did not expect that. What are your thoughts on Seth Rollins' return in this segment with Damian Priest?
I think it's awesome to see Seth Rollins return, even though we don't know the status of his health. It's still not 100%, but I'll say that any percentage of Rollins is great. I believe Seth Rollins is still recovering from his knee surgery, so he's not 100%, but he's definitely giving his all to become the World Heavyweight Champion again. So for him to be back, it's great. It's unexpected, but it's great with all the other drama going on that Damian Priest has to deal with. He actually took the time to welcome back Seth and give Seth a chance to win back his title, which is great. It seems to me from Damian Priest's actions, it seems like Damian Priest is going the way of down the road of becoming a face type of person. So, I mean, there's just these little hints here and there. He doesn't want the Judgment Day there at the Money in the Bank, but I believe they're going to be there to definitely just try to interfere and help him win, which, again, he clearly is showing that he doesn't need them. But at the same time, he does need them too, so kind of a give and take situation. What else can you do?
Alright, so moving on, we see Chad Gable in Alpha Academy saying that he wants another shot at Sami Zayn's title, but Adam Pearce denied his offer and said that it's disappointing, but said that Chad Gable needs to go back to the end of the line and, earn another shot. So this leads to the next match, Chad Gable versus a mystery opponent, and oh my god, poor Chad Gable. It turns out that Chad Gable will go one-on-one with Braun Strowman. So Braun Strowman versus Chad Gable. I feel bad for Chad Gable because Alpha Academy didn't do anything, and Braun Strowman was kind of trash talking Chad Gable, saying that he doesn't like bullies. He doesn't like how Chad Gable is treating Alpha Academy. Braun Strowman was about to clothesline Chad Gable, but put Tozawa as a shield, and Braun Strowman threw Tozawa at Chad Gable. And poor Chad Gable, that was just a quick match, like a squash match. Like, what is WWE doing to Chad Gable? Like, losing to Braun Strowman that quick. Like, Braun Strowman, by the way, defeats Chad Gable with an easy power slam. After the match, Chad Gable berates Tozawa, and then he steals Maxine Sabrine's crutches and being an ass. He slaps Tozawa, and we finally see Otis step up. We see Otis finally stepping up to himself by shoving Chad Gable, and that just let a huge pop in the crowd. But then he tears his shirt off. He had enough of Chad Gable. But instead of doing more damage to Chad, he decided to just carry Maxine and Tozawa to the back stage. So what are your thoughts on this match? Braun Strowman defeating Chad Gable.
I'd say it's an easy pickup win for Braun Strowman, despite the fierce competitor that we know Chad Gable to be. Braun Strowman pretty much made quick work with Chad Gable. What else can you say? Chad Gable had a huge mismatch against Braun Strowman. Basically, it's an easy win for him. After the match, we've been talking about this for weeks. Finally, it's happened. Otis finally sees the light. Otis has seen the light. The halo has come, and his eyes are clear, and he can see the light. And Chad Gable is officially out of Alpha Academy, and now Otis is the leader of Alpha Academy. Otis has protected his teammates. It was one thing for Chad Gable to smack Otis around and Otis to take it, but for Chad Gable to go ahead and berate Maxine and throw her questions and order her out of the ring when she can't even walk, and then smack Tozawa for not helping him and getting in his way, and then Otis could take that, but for Otis to see it happen to someone else, that's the straw that broke his hammer's back for Otis. It's over. It's over for Chad Gable. Chad Gable can officially go and be a single competitor now.
Alright, so moving on. So it is revealed so we got the Judgment Day in the backstage segment. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but did you go back and see the footage to see who took Liv Morgan's hotel key?
Oh yes, I saw.
So Finn Balor, of course, took Liv Morgan's key. And people were like, "Ooh, Finn Balor is about to get that." But Damien Priest confronted Finn Balor, and Finn Balor said that he's trying to keep Dom safe, and said that he put the key in the garbage can. I highly doubt that. So
that's funny. I don't think that's the case too.
Yeah. I think people are talking about how like maybe Finn Balor is actually working with Liv Morgan to drive Judgment Day away.
I could see Finn Balor actually working with Liv Morgan to get Liv Morgan to join Judgment Day, so they can kick out Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. I believe that Finn Balor definitely has an ulterior motive against the Indian Priest, because he tried to win that World Heavyweight title from Seth Rollins, but now he's seeing Priest basically give Seth Rollins a title right when he comes back out of nowhere. I definitely think Finn Balor is turning on Zayn in the future.
Alright, so moving on to the next match, we got a triple threat women's qualifying triple threat match. Winner goes on to the Money in the Bank qualifying. Winner goes to the Money in the Bank ladder match. We got Io Sky versus Kiana James versus Zelina Vega. So it's interesting because last year they just had single matches, but now it looks like they have triple threat matches, which makes it more, exciting and fun to watch. So you got Io Sky, Kiana James, who's obviously the newest member of Raw, who didn't really do too much, except beating Natalya in her Raw debut versus Zelina Vega. So it went back and forth, Io Sky looking to qualify. Honestly, obviously Io Sky won it last year, and it was just non-stop. Zelina Vega hitting a 619 was fun to watch. She's always taking a playbook from Rey Mysterio, but then Liv Morgan comes out and interrupts the match wearing Dominic's vest. So going back to that Judgment Day backstage segment, Dominic couldn't find his vest, but it turns out, Liv Morgan took it and wore it. Zelina Vega got distracted, and then Kiana James with a code breaker, but Io Sky hammers her with a double knees up top. With the diving moonsault, Io Sky defeats Kiana James and Zelina Vega to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. So wow, Io Sky is once again for the second year in a row in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So that'll be crazy if she can repeat twice. So we have to see what happens. So what are your thoughts on this triple threat match?
Wow, that's an interesting storyline that's happening right here with Zelina. We got Zelina Vega, Kiana James, and Io Sky. If Io Sky was just focused on her first, yes, if Io Sky definitely wins Money in the Bank second time in a row, that would be amazing to see. That would be really interesting if she wins it second time in a row and she gets a rematch against Bayley. Man, that's going to be really interesting storyline coming back. Io Sky's redemption arc and Damage Control's redemption arc coming in turn. That would be interesting. Second thing, Liv Morgan comes out and interferes with and Zelina Vega. We're definitely seeing Zelina Vega versus Liv Morgan. There's a feud going on there. We're definitely seeing that feud come to fruition. I see that for the championship. Liv Morgan's gonna challenge by Zelina for the championship. I don't think we've seen. I think Zelina has challenged Rhea Ripley for the championship, and she lost. But now she has the opportunity to challenge Liv Morgan, who is she's not big and tall like Rhea is. However, she definitely she's more of the same type as Liv Morgan. So it's definitely going to be a really interesting feud right there between these two.
Alright, so moving on to the next so we got Sami Zayn talking about how he's still Intercontinental champion, and he said he's ready to move on from Chad Gable, and he said he doesn't want to move on for Alpha Academy. He said that Otis is finally going to move on, and then he gets interrupted by Braun Breaker, who said that he wants the Intercontinental title, and then he gets interrupted by Sheamus. He said that if Sami Zayn is handing out opportunities, he should give it to his old pal Sheamus, and then he gets interrupted by Braun Strowman saying that he's cocky, and maybe we'll see Sheamus. So it's announced that it was going to be Sheamus and Braun Breaker in a one-on-one match later tonight. So that ends the segment right there. So what do you think of Sheamus versus Sami, or maybe it might be Braun Breaker versus Sami for the Intercontinental Championship?
They get a fatal four-way. Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Braun Strowman versus Sami for the Intercontinental Championship.
Why Braun Strowman?
I think Braun Strowman came out. Braun Strowman was qualifying for the Money in the Bank. I mean, Braun Strowman came out, obviously, so why not? Why not Braun Strowman?
Braun Strowman didn't come out.
Oh, sorry. You should make it a triple threat. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. We have Sheamus, Braun Breaker, and Sami for the Intercontinental title. I believe it would kind of be interesting if Sheamus actually is the one that is being pushed to get the Intercontinental title. I don't think Sheamus ever won the Intercontinental title. That would be interesting for Sheamus, because Sami's been champion before. We'll have to see what happens going forward, unless Chad Gable has something to do with it, and Chad Gable gets himself involved, and then you make it a fatal four-way with Sami, Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Chad Gable all together.
Alright, so moving on to the next match, we got Carlito versus Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee finally getting his hands on Carlito after getting betrayed. Those two went back and forth, near fall, but then once again Liv Morgan tried to seduce Dominic Mysterio, but Zelina Vega attacks her, causing a distraction. JD McDonough distracts Lee. Carlito with the backstabber. Carlito defeats Dragon Lee by pinfall thanks to the JD McDonough interference. So, dude, Liv Morgan is just obsessed with Dominic Mysterio. So, later in the backstage segment, he found Liv Morgan backstage and said, "Can I get my vest back?" And said, "You have to get it for me." And it looks like Dom was stripping Liv. So, what are your thoughts on Carlito defeating Dragon Lee?
Man, Blackman definitely has to pull out all the stops to get a win against Carlito for some reason. He keeps losing to Carlito because that's what the interference. Carlito definitely needs somebody on his side to help him stop JD from distracting him. Because JD keeps on interfering and Carlito keeps winning. So there's things that have to change. They definitely need a better strategy for containing JD and containing Dom in order to get a win.
All right, so moving on, we got Chad Gable looking as Otis started packing. He said that he's leaving. Otis said he's done with Chad Gable, so we have to see what happens. Chad Gable said that he's going to go after the World Heavyweight title, so he's going to be part of a triple threat qualifying match for the Money in the Bank. So imagine if Chad does go after the World title. That'd be funny. But moving on to the next match. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Drew McIntyre makes his entrance and he looked like he was about to cry. The crowd's chanting CM Punk, CM Punk, after getting screwed by CM Punk at his home country in Clash at the Castle in Scotland. Drew McIntyre said that he can't do it anymore, screw this company, and then he says he's quit. And then he walks out with Adam Pearce chasing after him, and then we see Triple H and Adam Pearce trying to get Drew McIntyre to stay, but he storms off and refuses to meet Adam Pearce in his office. So just an intense moment right there. People are saying that it's just part of the storyline because Drew McIntyre's wife actually just got done with surgery, so I think this is just a storyline to write it off for a bit, so Drew can go take care of his wife. So, any thoughts on that before I move on?
Man, yeah. Unfortunate for Drew McIntyre that he had to lose in front of his home country and not be able to win for his wife, his family, and it's kind of a lot of shame that he's feeling, understandably. Shame on CM Punk for doing that. This is exactly what happened last time with at the previous Raw event. I believe it was in King and Queen of the Ring. Somebody got involved in someone else's business and caused them to lose that match. We mentioned that before in the previous broadcast. But man, that is pretty intense. What happened, and we're gonna see what happens going forward. Hopefully, Drew McIntyre doesn't actually leave. Hopefully, he stays. When we see him return and gets his and see him and CM Punk are gonna have a moment. We're gonna see what happens then.
Alright, so moving on to the next match, we got Damage Control, Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane versus Kiana Chance and Kayden Carter. It was a great match after a while, and then Lyra Valkyria comes out and checks on her friends. Lyra seems to made a friends in Chance and Carter last week. So, but then they got distracted. Chance and Carter with the after party on Damage Control, defeating them. Chance and Carter defeats Damage Control by pinfall thanks to Lyra Valkyria. And we see Io Sky said that Damage Control has to change, or she'll change things herself. So we have to see what the state for Damage Control is. So that's interesting. So what are your thoughts on this match?
I think it's interesting. I think Asuka is still injured. She's out apparently. She's going to be out for some time because she's had surgery on her knee ever since WrestleMania. And man, it's unfortunate that she's out because she would be a really good asset for Damage Control going forward. And right now, Damage Control is down a lady. So all they can do is manage what they can. And I do agree with you, Sky, that they do have to improve. That there should be some changes in Damage Control because they've really lost their step, they've lost their grip on things. They were once the most dominant tag team, and they had the women's heavyweight. They had the women's championship there. They were the most powerful team. Unfortunately, things didn't work out for them. I would say it's a great pickup win for Chance and Carter too, because Chance and Carter were a really good tag team. Actually, I like Chance and Carter. I think it's good that they picked up the win. It's great that Isla was there to help them out because Damage Control is still a pretty good team, but they're not at full strength because Asuka is there. When Asuka is there, they're a completely different team. But she wasn't there, so they were not at complete strength. So what else can he do? Let's see what kind of changes are going to happen with damage control going forward. I think those guys should make those changes, or possibly it should be not EO. If not EO, then it should be one of the other members that should be.
Alright, so moving on to the next match, we got the Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. So Sami Zayn is at ringside for this one. I guess maybe they will have the winner face Sami at Money in the Bank. I'd like to see that. But this was a banger of a match. Two heavyweights. Braun Breaker is too strong, diving Sheamus and crashing through the announce table. It looked like Braun Breaker was taking advantage, but Sheamus, he likes to fight. Sheamus was able to connect with White Noise in a knee, but Braun Breaker covered for two. But then Sheamus was about to hit another Rhodes kick, but then Ludwig Kaiser runs in and attacks Sheamus, ending in a disqualification. Sheamus defeats Braun Breaker by disqualification, and then post-match, Kaiser and Sheamus started to fight around the ringside until Braun Breaker speared Sheamus, and then Ludwig Kaiser took advantage, trapping Sheamus' leg against the steel steps. He tried to take out Sheamus, but then Braun Breaker runs around the other way to intercept it and spears him. So, but Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn gets shot in, so we might see Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. That's gonna be tough for Sami. So what are your thoughts on this match? Screw you, Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see the conclusion of the match for Sheamus versus Braun Breaker, and unfortunately, that dastardly villain Ludwig Kaiser got in the way, and so interfered with Sheamus, and so Sheamus loses, unintentionally loses. And there goes his chances. So he has to still finish his match with Kaiser. And Braun Breaker gets his chance at getting to Sami Zayn and facing Sami Zayn for the title. I'd like to say going forward that I get the idea that Braun Breaker is not heel and Braun Breaker is not face. Just kind of like what Drew McIntyre is as a Braun Breaker. Definitely, he definitely needs to be. He's like an in-between face and in-between heel type of guy. So he attacked Sheamus and he attacked Ludwig Kaiser. So what is where is the WWE taking this guy? I'm just kind of wondering what is his natural role? Is he a face or is he a heel? What does he want to be? That's kind of my question.
Yeah, so alright. So moving on to the next, we see Karrion Kross. This feud between Karrion Kross and the New Day is getting in a higher level. Karrion Kross challenges to one of the members of New Day to a match next week, and then the New Day accepts. I think it's going to be Kofi. But moving on to the main event, we got a Money in the Bank qualifying match, triple threat on the men's side. We got Finn Balor versus Jey Uso versus Rey Mysterio. So it was a great match, honestly, and Finn Balor just didn't want anything to do with both men, so he kind of took a break and just watched Jey Uso and Rey Mysterio beat the shit out of each other, and then he took advantage. 619. Rey Mysterio hit a bunch of 619, but then Judgment Day, triple threat rules, no disqualification, of course. Judgment Day runs interference. Dominic Mysterio runs interference on his father, but then Braun Strowman makes the save, chasing them out of the crowd. Finn Balor gets a super kick, but Jake only gets the 2. But then Finn Balor was going to go on top for a coup de grace, but then Jey Uso dives of them with a Uso splash and gets the win. Jey Uso defeats Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor by pinfall to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. So this is going to be Jey Uso's first ever Money in the Bank ladder match in his career. So that's crazy to think. What are your thoughts on the main event?
Well, I believe this is Jey Uso's time. Jey Uso doesn't have nothing to worry about. Jey Uso doesn't have a bloodline on him. Jey Uso doesn't have I think the Drew McIntyre in the waiting. Jay Uso doesn't have any other thing. He doesn't have his brother. He doesn't have Jay. Jay doesn't have Jimmy coming and interfering in his matches. I mean, there's a possibility that Bloodline would definitely send Tonga Loa over and screw Jay Uso again. But at this point in time, Jay Uso has the opportunity to go to get Money in the Bank and become and get the Money in the Bank to challenge the next champion, whoever that is. But Ray Uso, he definitely has some unfinished business with the Judgment Day. I mean, Ray needs to do something. Ray and Braun Strowman and LWO, they need to take a firm stand against the Judgment Day, and they have to end this feud one way or another. I mean, what else can they do? They got to do something to stop it. The other thing I want to mention, Finn Balor. Finn Balor is actually supposed to be the guy that is supposed to win the ability to challenge for the Money in the Bank. Imagine if he did win Money in the Bank, it would be wild because we could be talking about so many different angles to come at for Finn Balor. If Finn Balor wins Money in the Bank, imagine if he did and he challenges Damian Priest for the title. I mean, that would be a major upset right there if he did that. The other thing is if he challenges Cody for the title, that would make it interesting. And or Sami Zayn also. I mean, there's a lot of different angles to go with right there. But unfortunately, he lost, and Jey Uso now is the one that's going to be the challenger. So Jey Uso has a lot of different angles he could look at. So, but what else can you say? I don't think Damian Priest is happy with that.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we finally are here with the Bray Wyatt 6. Uncle Howdy makes his return. Uncle Howdy, the lights go down, the fireflies come out, a door covering in ivy, a ghostly figure crawls out, smiling at the camera, which is, of course, Nikki Cross. It is Nikki Cross, not Alexa Bliss, by the way. So it's Nikki Cross as Sister Abigail, and the camera goes to the backstage area where there's dead bodies. There is a Rattling Rabbit, who is actually Eric Rowan, who was once part of Bray Wyatt's faction, so he has returned with the Rattling Rabbit hammer that says help. And then we see Bird Mask perching on a road case, so that is actually Dexter Lumis with the Bird Mask. And then we get to see a pig-shaped gas mask, which is Joey Gacy, who was another member of Bray Wyatt's faction in the past. So we got those three, and then we see Chad Gable dead, bleeding from the temple, so it's a bunch of dead bodies. And then we got to see Uncle Howdy himself walking out. Bo Dallas, of course, joined by Dexter Lumis, joined by Eric Rowan and Joey Gacy, and then once again they joined Nikki Cross. Just to let you guys know, that is not Alexa Bliss, it was Nikki Cross, and they all Uncle Howdy lifts up the lantern, and they stand up together and said, "We're here," and it blows it out, and that's the end of the show. So Uncle Howdy is back. Any thoughts?
I like Uncle Howdy. I know I have been thinking about what is the target of Uncle Howdy and where is he going? What is he going to do now?
Imagine if it's Chad. Imagine if it's Chad Gable.
I mean,
because if you don't know, in most of those QR codes, you see Chad Gable's first and last initials, CG, in those QR codes. So he might be Uncle Howdy's first target. People saying it might be Seth Rollins.
It could be Seth Rollins. It could be a number of people you know and don't know. We'll have to see what happens going forward.
They're saying that Indy Hartwell wants to divorce Dexter Lumis after he got involved with Uncle Howdy, and then people were like, they're gonna have Nikki Cross attack. Dexter's gonna have Nikki Cross attack Indy Hartwell.
I mean, that would be wild if it does happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, Got to see. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely they're definitely looking into it to go after somebody. They definitely want to.
Imagine they go after Jay. Imagine if they go after Jay Uso.
Oh, I mean, he does have the Fireflies team. So if he has the Fireflies and they don't want him to use the Fireflies, they want that thing back, then they're gonna take it from him. So I mean, you can see them interfering, and costing him a chance to win the title. That would be that. So.
Yeah, and people saw Alexa Bliss with Sister Abigail, but with actually Nikki Cross. It kind of like because she was so like in a weird state. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But that would do it for WWE Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for watching. In terms of grading, this was a great show. Seth Rollins straight up A+ for me. This was an awesome show. The return of Uncle Howdy, Otis finally snapping on Chad Gable, and Seth Rollins making his return. So straight up A+. It was an awesome show. How about you?
I mean, there's a lot of different storylines that are coming out right now with Chad Gable being out with there's a lot of different angles that we can come into. The Fireflies and the significance there is something that was used by Bray Wyatt, and when I watched the video, I honestly didn't see that angle there because this looks like a brand new Wyatt family. Everybody is brand new, and it's a lot to take in at once. But I just want to first just to observe and see how things are progressing before I finally get my thoughts on that.
Alright, so what's your grade for the shows, tonight's show?
My grade, I would give it a B+.
B+? Alright. So that will do it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this broadcast. My name is Braun Steele, this is Canadian Yorker. If you haven't done so, like, subscribe, check out WWE Wrestling Bros. YouTube link will be in the description. It's our wrestling channel. And be sure to check out Canadian Yorker's channel. His YouTube link will also be in the description of this video as well. And we are on the road to Money in the Bank. So, which is going to be taking place in Toronto, Canadian Yorker's town. Kind of. So, but my name is Braun Steele. Thank you guys for watching. This is Canadian Yorker, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, time.